Why did Yoda go into exile? Yes, he had failed to defeat Darth Sidious in that moment we just watched, as the blast of energy between them threw both fighters backwards. But to most of us, that didn't necessarily mean Yoda had lost the fight. In fact, the novel for Revenge of the Sith actually tells us that Yoda beat Darth Sidious in the lightsaber duel itself. However, it is immediately following this moment that the Jedi Master exits the arena and informs General Organa that he must go into exile. So the big question here is, why did Yoda simply accept defeat in that moment, with the fate of the galaxy on the line? What caused him to believe that exile had become his only choice? From what I can tell, there is no simple or definitive answer to this question, but there are a number of pieces to the puzzle from both Legends and canon that give us a pretty solid answer if we put them all together. So first things first, when Yoda falls to the bottom of the arena, and Darth Sidious manages to hang on and regain his position, this is indeed a subtle piece of symbolism that Yoda may have been slightly overmatched when it came down to their Force abilities. That does not necessarily mean that the Emperor was stronger than the Grand Master, although he very well could have been. Yoda's decision to run and hide after this encounter does tell us, however, that his belief in his own abilities had been shaken. A battle that had begun with Yoda carrying a supreme confidence that he would be victorious ended with the old Jedi Master unsure of what his future held. Darth Sidious had proven himself a worthy adversary on his own, and the presence of his clone troopers who were now gathering tipped the scales greatly in his favor. Recognizing this, Yoda accepted defeat and fled the scene. But he could have simply gathered himself and prepared for another opportunity to isolate the Emperor from his troops, or taken some time to round up Master Kenobi and any other surviving Jedi to get ready for one final attempt at preventing the return of the Sith. But both of those ideas were very risky. If they failed, all would be lost. The Jedi would be destroyed, and all hope for the galaxy would be wiped out in that moment. Vader and Sidious were considerably stronger than most Jedi anyways. To mount a desperate attack right now and go after this ascending empire who had clearly gained a decisive advantage over the Jedi would be foolish. It was a temptation many Jedi may have fallen into, but not Yoda. He had now seen firsthand what the Sith were capable of. And the birth of Luke and Leia, two children with tremendous connections to the Force, provided a small glimmer of hope, a light at the end of the tunnel if they played this thing right. It's not unlikely at all that by the time Yoda had joined Bail Organa on Coruscant, he was already well aware of Padme's pregnancy. Anakin Skywalker was the chosen one. Yoda did believe that Qui-Gon was right about him, but how could that be true now? Maybe he foresaw Anakin's redemption. Maybe he knew all along that Luke and Leia would be the key to turning their father back to the good side. Or maybe he didn't. But still, he would recognize the potential that the offspring of the Chosen One possessed. It was by far their best bet. So Yoda chose to go into hiding, not out of fear or shame, but out of wisdom. The Jedi stood little to no chance at defeating the Empire anymore. Every day they grew stronger and stronger. But thanks to Yoda, there was a small spark. A spark that would remain so small and insignificant until the time was right, that they would never be able to find it until it was too late. By the time the Empire learned of Luke's existence, they could not eliminate him. His potential to continue the Sith legacy was too valuable at that point, and when he finally faced Vader on the Death Star, his power and his devotion to the light was too great. And it was all thanks to Yoda and Kenobi. Their foresight was the only reason the Jedi were ever able to return. Without them, the possibility of such a notion would not have come along for many years, if at all. In Legends, Yoda even wiped a few significant planets from the archives so that any surviving Jedi could find refuge until the time was right. As we saw in Star Wars Rebels, other Jedi did survive, and while they may not have helped destroy the Sith directly, they did play important roles in the fight against the Empire. Again, all thanks to Yoda's intuition. Of course, Plan A was for him to kill Darth Sidious and stop the oppression of the Sith from ever returning. But when that plan failed, all was not lost. It would turn out, in fact, that Plan B, while unfortunate for the 20+ years of misery the galaxy would endure, was a genius idea. So I hope this video cleared some things up for you guys and gave you some more knowledge about what went into Yoda's decision. If you enjoyed this explanation, please give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for future Star Wars content, and may the Force be with you always.